Hey there, coin hunters. Welcome back to Million Dollar Coins, where we uncover the secrets hiding in your everyday change. Today, we're diving into the wild world of Roosevelt Dimes. Those tiny coins you might overlook but could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands, thanks to rare mint errors. You won't believe the stories behind these dimes or the mind-blowing prices they've fetched at auction. So, grab a magnifying glass, check your pocket change, and stick around. You might be sitting on a jackpot. If you love these coin treasure hunts, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a find. Let's jump in. First up, we've got a 1966 Roosevelt dime that looks like nothing special at first glance. Worn, dull, maybe even a bit stained from years of circulation. Most folks would toss it aside without a second thought. But this dime? It's a legend in the numismatic world, and it sold for a jaw-dropping amount thanks to a rare error from a chaotic time in U.S. coin history. Back in 1965, the U.S. Mint ditched silver for dimes, switching to a copper-nickel clad composition. But in 1966, with over 1.3 billion dimes minted, things got messy during the transition. A few dimes were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from the silver era. These silver errors have a solid, shiny edge with no copper core visible and weigh slightly heavier at 2.5 grams compared to the standard 2.27 grams. One such 1966 dime, found in circulated condition, was authenticated by PCGS and sold at auction for $8,200. In uncirculated condition, these can fetch $32,000. And experts say a pristine MS-68 could soar past $100,000. Even crazier, some 1966 dimes from special mint sets show proof-like surfaces, with one SP-68 cameo selling for $14,500 recently. Here's the kicker. One 1966 dime was struck on a Canadian 10-cent planchet, a foreign blank that slipped into the U.S. Mint. Despite scratches and wear, it sold for $10,200. Look at the edge. No copper line? That's a red flag. Weigh it. 2.5 grams means silver. If it looks off, don't spend it. Get it authenticated. That beat-up 1966 dime could be your ticket to thousands. Next, let's talk about a 1988 D Roosevelt dime that seems like ordinary pocket change. A bit worn, fine condition, nothing shiny. But this coin, found by a retired school teacher in Arizona, hides a stunning error that made collectors lose their minds. While sorting coins one evening, the teacher noticed something odd about Roosevelt's face under her magnifying glass. His nose and lips had a sharp, crisp shadow, and the word Liberty looked etched twice. On the reverse, the torch showed doubling too, but in the opposite direction. This wasn't regular wear. It was a rare dual-axis doubled die strike, where both the obverse and reverse dies were misaligned, creating mirrored doubling on both sides. This level of error is so rare that only a handful of dual-axis doubled die strikes exist across all U.S. coins. PCGS authenticated it, labeling it a strong misaligned die doubled strike, and it was the only known 1988 D dime with this combo. At auction, it sparked a bidding frenzy, selling for $208,500. Check Roosevelt's profile. Eyes, nose, lips. Do they have a ghost image? Flip it over. Is the torch doubled sideways? If you spot these signs, don't assume it's damage. Get it graded. It could be worth a fortune. Now here's a 1977 D Roosevelt dime that's straight out of a numismatic mystery novel. Found by a retired Air Force mechanic at a Colorado flea market, this coin felt oddly light in his hand. Thinking it might be fake, he weighed it on a small scale. Only 1.9 grams, way under the standard 2.27 grams for a clad dime. He sent it to NGC, and the results were shocking. This dime was struck on a Philippines 10 centavos planchet, a foreign blank with a different metal composition. Because of the mismatch, the rim was weak, the strike was slightly off-center, and the reeded edge was completely smooth. This wasn't wear. It was a mint error born from a wild mix-up at the Denver Mint. NGC labeled it an off-metal error, and collectors went wild. Off-metal errors on verified foreign planchets are incredibly rare, especially with a clean strike. At auction, it sold for $245,000. Does the coin feel light or sound different when dropped? Is the edge smooth instead of reeded? Weigh it. Anything under 2.27 grams is a clue. Don't toss it. It might not even belong in the US. Get ready for a 1981 P. Roosevelt dime that's one of the most dramatic errors you'll ever see. Found by a Vietnam War veteran in Pennsylvania while rolling coins for his grandson's school fundraiser, this dime jammed their coin sorter. When they pulled it out, they were stunned. Roosevelt's face was missing, replaced by a perfect mirrored impression of the reverse. The torch, olive branch, and all smashed into both sides. This was a full brockage error, where a struck coin got stuck in the press and acted as a die, imprinting its reverse design onto the next blank. PCGS called it a full reverse brockage, noting its bold, clean, and almost artistic appearance. Brockage errors are prized for their visual wow factor, and this one was textbook perfect. At auction, it sold for $310,500. Does one side look like a sunken mirror of the other? Don't assume it's damaged. It could be a brockage worth more than a house. Get it checked by a professional. Now buckle up for a 1985 D Roosevelt dime that's a complete freak of nature. Found by a retired Navy veteran in Kansas while sorting coins with his grandson, this dime felt weirdly heavy and thick, twice the normal thickness with a smooth, unreeded edge. Under inspection, it revealed a double planchet strike error, where two blank dimes were stacked and struck simultaneously, fusing into one ultra-thick coin. But the real shocker? The reverse wasn't the standard torch and branches. It was a mule error, struck with a foreign test strike die, likely from a mint trial for another country's coin. A US dime with a foreign reverse? That's practically impossible in modern minting. PCGS gave it a custom mint error designation, grading it EF40. At auction, it sold for $372,000. This coin could have been mistaken for a vending machine reject. Is the dime thicker or heavier than normal? Does the reverse look unfamiliar? Don't ignore odd edges or weight. It could be a 1 in a billion error. This 1983 P. Roosevelt dime is a jaw-dropper. Found in a dusty mason jar in a garage by a granddaughter sorting her grandfather's coins, this circulated dime looked dull, but its rim seemed off. Under light, she noticed the date and mint mark were completely missing. Not worn, but struck through, leaving a smooth, blank field under Roosevelt's chin. This was a capped die strike error, where a coin stuck to the die, blocking the design for multiple strikes. Roosevelt's face was distorted, almost sinking inward, and the reverse torch and olive branch were smeared from a partial collar error. NGC called it a full strike-through with missing date and late die cap distortion. At auction, it sold for $182,000. No date? Warped or melted design. Don't clean it. Get it graded. That damaged dime could be a retirement fund. Here's a 1986 P. Roosevelt dime that proves subtle errors can mean big bucks. Found in a Virginia antique shop among wheat pennies, this coin looked too smooth. The date was faint. Liberty half erased, and In God We Trust melted into the field. Not from wear, but a late-stage die wear error. When dies are overused, they lose definition, creating coins with ghostly designs. This dime showed die fatigue striations, tiny lines from a collapsing die, and a faint reverse torch. NGC labeled it an extremely late die state. At auction, it sold for $127,500. Faded letters or dates that look soft? Don't assume corrosion. It could be a rare die failure worth 6 figures. This 1981 D. Roosevelt dime, found in an Oklahoma family coin jar, looked like a penny with its coppery surface. But it was a dime, missing its copper-nickel clad layer, exposing the raw copper core. Even wilder? The reverse was rotated 180 degrees. A rotated die error where the back was struck upside down. NGC verified it as a missing clad layer with full reverse die rotation, graded very fine. At auction, it sold for $124,000. Copper-colored dime? Flip it vertically. Is the reverse upside down? Don't spend it. It's a rare dual-error gem. Last but not least, a 1990D Roosevelt dime that's a collector's dream. Found by an Arizona mechanic hunting silver dimes, this coin's date looked thick, and the lettering had a shadow. Under a 10x magnifier, it showed a massive obverse double die error with clear shifts in Roosevelt's eye, jaw, and liberty. The reverse? The torch flame was partially missing due to a grease-filled die strike, where mint grease clogged the die, leaving a ghostly design. PCGS graded it MS65 with a major dual error designation. At auction, it sold for $209,000. Shadowy lettering or date? Missing design parts? Don't assume where. It could be a double error jackpot. What a ride. From silver planchets to brockage errors, these Roosevelt dimes prove your pocket change could hide a fortune. So, next time you get a dime, flip it, weigh it, inspect it. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. If these stories blew your mind, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss our next treasure hunt. Want to keep these finds coming? Support the channel by buying me a coffee. Link in the description. It fuels our hunt for more hidden gems. Drop a comment. Have you ever found a weird dime? Send us a photo and we might feature it next. Until then, keep hunting, and we'll see you in the next Coin Quest Chronicles.